Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are so honored to have you all here for America Out Loud here at the Olney Theater in Olney, Maryland. I'm Amy Dacey. I'm the Executive Director of the Science Institute of Policy and Politics. It's an honor to partner with Olney on this series with our distinguished fellow at the Science Institute, Kwame Alexander, who has been with us this year, and in a very important year, our 250th anniversary of this country of ours. And we have been having the fellows work with students, work with the community at large, to ask a lot of questions about what that means. And so in America Out Loud tonight, Kwame, who, if you don't know, is a poet, educator, publisher, an Emmy Award-winning producer, and a New York Times bestselling author. I keep going, but we want to get as much program in tonight as possible. He has become also an incredible friend. He also brings incredible friends with him when he is telling his American story. We are joined tonight by Rachel Martin, who is an incredible journalist at NPR. She is the former host of Morning Edition and is currently the host of a podcast called Wild Card. She'll be joining us in the program tonight. We're very honored to have her here with us. And also the Amy Shook Trio, who we have spent time with before, but their talent and their incredible music ability will certainly lend to the evening. We want to thank those who are joining us by live stream. Our students, faculty, community across the country is joining us as well, but we welcome you on this journey. Kwame, my friend, please take it away.
Good evening. Good evening. We're in a dance studio. I will not be dancing today. Do not count on that. So grateful for the American University Science Fellowship. This is the second of 3 events that I am helping to facilitate in an effort to explore America through poetry and music, through words and sound, and to take a look at where we've come from and perhaps get a better understanding of where we're headed, or at least where we can ensure that we're headed. This is not going to be a lecture. This is more of an evening of discovery where music is the emotional thread and conversation is the context. And of course, poetry is the heartbeat. How do you write an American poem? A life, liberty, and the pursuit of a joyful noise, incredible poem. A new face for our country, unending poem. A listen, can't you hear the ancestors singing, unbending poem. A great day, righteous marching poem. A shine your light on the world, shine your light for the world to see poem, and don't stop till the break of dawn, jubilee poem. A new birth of freedom revealed poem. A tunnel of hope to heal poem. How do you write an American poem that has not been written yet? America is more than just a place, it is a song. sometimes in harmony, sometimes not. Tonight we listen to the song that is America. We listen to the story of America. Amy Shook, Frank Russo, and Jonathan Epley with 1P. Give it up, y'all. So, as we're exploring this American story, it behooves us to welcome one of America's preeminent storytellers, story listeners, and storytellers. Please welcome my dear friend, Rachel Martin.
There are not many people who I would drop everything for and drive to Olney.
Right? Olney's a faraway
It's
place.
far from us, everyone. But man, it's very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. And I'm so pleased to be here.
There are not many people who work in radio who sound and look beautiful.
Oh, go on. But actually.
I'm so glad you're here. This is really intimidating because you are an amazing interviewer and listener. And so I got to somehow make this engaging and interesting, not only for them, but for you, lest you like leave here like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, right.
Why did I
I think
do
you're
that?
gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be okay.
I think what we're gonna do tonight, Rachel, is we're gonna sort of approach tonight as a jazz suite.
Love it.
And we're gonna look at 5 movements in this suite. And so I happen to have, Rachel hosts a show called Wild Card. Heard of that? Yeah. It's a combination game show, spiritual reawakening. Like, it's a beautiful idea. I remember when you were working on it and you were like, Kwame, I want you on the show one day. And I haven't been on the show yet. But we're not gonna talk about that. So Rachel allows her guests to choose a question. They have 3 cards they can choose from. And so I feel like we're gonna do something very similar for each movement.
Okay.
But instead of letting you choose from 3 cards, you get to choose from 1 card. Right? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let her choose a card, Amy, and then we're gonna talk about that card. I'm gonna ask her a question, and then I'm gonna read a poem in response to what we talk about, and then you're gonna play a piece, you and Frank and Jonathan, in response to all of this. I think there's a Latin word called, is it Latin? Ekphrasis, Ekphrasis. Marisa, what does that word mean?
Ekphrasis is like when you write, for example, you write a poem about a work of art.
Okay.
That's an ekphrasis poem.
So it's art responding to art. So it's conversation, poem responding to conversation, and music responding to both of those. Please choose a card. All right, and you chose? Movement. Okay, so let's see what's on the back of this card, Rachel Martin.
Okay.
America is a nation in motion, has always been. People crossing oceans, some by force, marching across bridges, searching for belonging. When you think of movement, what image comes to your mind?
What image comes to my mind?
Now, I will say this, Rachel. My dear friend, Nikki Giovanni, who passed away on December 9th, 2024, she once told me, Kwame, I get interviewed all the time, and here's my trick. I answer the question I hear. So you have permission to answer the question that you hear, not necessarily that we hear.
I guess I will start by just answering the question as it pertains to me. That feels selfish, but that's kind of what I know is here. And my family's history, like all of ours, is one of migration, which is the American story. And my family, many, many generations ago, came in like the 1700s. Eventually they made their way to Idaho and built a homestead there in 1850 that still stands on the outskirts of Idaho Falls, Idaho. My sister's a real estate agent there, and she just sent me the listing. She's like, do you want to buy it? She's selling it, that old farmhouse. So I have thought a lot about that movement and the perennial search for something better, which so defines who we are as Americans. And then how it applies to me. I mean, I think what was interesting about my family is they moved for so many generations and then they stayed put. They stayed put in that farmstead. They stayed put on that land for 6 generations. And I think it was only because of their stability that I then felt able to pick up the mantle and go. And then I was on my own American journey. And I moved and I moved and I moved. A lot of that was fueled by my own ambition, my own dreams, which is a privilege to feel like you can pursue those things. I don't take that for granted at all. And I moved so much, I kept thinking that the next move, I was gonna get it. I was gonna get the job satisfaction. I was gonna find the love. I was gonna find self-fulfillment, and I just kept going and going. And eventually I stood still. And I've repeated this story before, that I felt kind of like a frog on a lily pad, and things are always better on the next lily pad. And you meet such interesting other frogs on the next lily pad. And, oh, I've heard tell of even better, more interesting frogs in the next bog. And eventually, through circumstance, you end up back where you started on your original lily pad. And then it occurs to you to look down, and you dive under the sea, or you dive under the lake, and a whole world appears to you. And that's sort of what happened to me after going from lily pad to lily pad, looking for newer, better, more interesting, satisfying. I stood still, my movement stopped, and I opened my eyes to where I was standing. And I got deeper in that place. I invested in the relationships that were in front of me. I built a home. I grew roots and found myself in that. So I think it is a dance, right? Of moving, looking, searching. There's so much of America's story that's about searching, and then standing still. What a gift to be able to stand still and recognize that that your search might just end where you began in some ways. So that's, I guess, my answer. There's a lot of movement in all of our stories, and a lot in mine, and it fuels us, but it can also be unsettling, and sometimes you need to stop.
That's really profound, Rachel.
Well, thanks, man.
I wonder if when you're sitting in your studio, whether it was Morning Edition or on Wild Card, and you're grounded, and you're gonna go home at a certain point, and you're gonna come, deal with your kids, and you're gonna, take them on their soccer games or whatever. I wonder during the course of your professional life, as we often talk about in books, when you read a book, you can travel anywhere. Books take you to other worlds. Do you find that through your journalism, you have been traveling?
Totally.
And have you been searching?
Yeah,
for?
I mean, that's the thing. Connection. Always connection.
Right.
Which is why I think someone like me who had this innate wanderlust, journalism was just the best fit ever. You don't have to commit, I can keep, every day is different. You just kept learning and placing yourself in other people's lives when they allow you in. And a lot of times, I will say, those moments can be very grim, because a lot of journalism happens on someone's worst day. But I was always into journalism for the connection. I really wasn't in it for the breaking news. I really wasn't in it for the big scoops. I've always been in it for the empathy that storytelling can create, for sure.
And you mentioned the sea, you mentioned the lakes, and we of course know that the water is one of the things that connects us globally, physically, literally, geographically. The water connects us. As Black Americans, we know that there's so many of my Black American friends who will not go on a cruise, do not swim, because of the relationship to water. And that at some point during that brutal journey that we call the Middle Passage, the Africans looked back and they could no longer see where they came from, where home was. And they looked forward and had no idea where they were headed or what awaited them. The only thing they could see was the water and the sky. I posit that is where the blues come from. I have known rivers. I've known rivers as ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. How do you write an American poem? Okay, I see you. So the poem was by Langston Hughes, and you went to the Harlem Renaissance with Duke Ellington, and you took us on the A train. Well done. All right. Choose a card.
You're so cheeky. Okay. Reckoning.
Oh, reckoning.
Reckoning is a big word.
Wow. We have a lot to reckon for in this country. Why are we so afraid of the truth? Every nation has a soundtrack, and some of the notes are beautiful, they're gorgeous, and some are dissonant. Rachel, as a journalist, you've had a front row seat to some of the most challenging and hardest conversations. You look at me like, what is he gonna ask?
Yeah.
I want you to sort of share a little bit about the difference for you in covering versus living through it.
I laugh because that is very hard to separate. I will be really honest with you. It was, you must come at these stories with a sense of remove, right? In order to be the proxy for the audience. And sometimes it is very difficult to do that. And the summer of 2020 was very difficult for me. When I think of reckoning, I think of three words. I think of grief, I think of truth, and I think of freedom. And that summer,
This was during the lockdown.
during the lockdown, aftermath of George Floyd's murder, all the protests that were happening,
Mhm.
and we're all in our little houses thinking about what's going on if we weren't there. And I'm reporting on it downstairs in my home studio, away from colleagues, where it does help to have your colleagues around to kind of process what's going on. And I was so grief-stricken, and then I was angry at my grief, because then I went through the whole thing that white people went through that summer of, now I'm centering myself in this, and this is not about me. And I had to kind of step back again and focus on the work, which helps get yourself out of it. But it is impossible to cover America, guns, the opioid crisis, wars, the racial reckoning of 2020, and America's original sin in any form, and not have skin in the game as an American. And I would see I have a lot of friends who are foreign correspondents who live in Europe primarily, who come to America as foreign correspondents. And it's just a whole different ballgame when it's not your country, you know? You can sit at remove, and I don't have that luxury. So it was very difficult. I don't know the degree to which I was successful in doing that, in creating that kind of separation, but we don't do ourselves any favors if you try to take yourself out of it completely, because journalists are humans, and the stories we're telling are that of other humans who are living through historic times. And unless we can connect with the emotional undercurrent of injustice and reckoning and aspirational justice, then what are we even doing?
Do you remember, we talked a lot during that summer,
I feel like we made a lot of poems. You made poems.
and I was living in London.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I came up with an idea for a show.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was all about joy and upliftment and hope. And I remember thinking to myself, how do you do that, which you do every morning, and have to face all of this woe? And I remember feeling like, I want to make sure we have some wonder
Yeah.
in this moment together.
Yeah.
And I was able to separate and compartmentalize what was happening to you all in America while I was living in London. And I could write about it, I could be upset about it, I could deal with that grief that you talked about. And then I could go and make vegetable lasagna for my kid, or learn how to make fried chicken, which took me 12 times, by the way. And I could just sort of, but you didn't have that luxury. That's gotta be tough
Yeah.
on a spirit, on a soul.
Yeah. I don't want to be too like, whoa, are we the journalists? Because there's a tendency sometimes.
But you're a human being, you're a person, and so woe is you.
Oh yeah, no, I had a hard time. And
Right.
I mean, I quit my job. Let's just be honest. Like, after 6 years of doing that particular show every day in those particular years, I started that job hosting Morning Edition, which is the daily news program on NPR, in December of 2016. And it was a fire hose of news and information every day. You went to sleep with one plan about what you thought the news was going to be. You woke up and everything had changed. Everything had changed. And all of a sudden you had people coming on the show who were not necessarily honest brokers anymore. And they would flip the script and interrogate you. And this was all new territory. And then the actual editorial substance of what was happening in America. And they were some grim years. And I ended up leaving because I needed to focus on the wonder. My well was dry, and I needed to find a way to fill it back up with joy and humanity and reminders of no matter what, truly no matter what, there are parts of us that are universal. We are echoes of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to find a way to remember that when there were so many forces that are still at work, that everything about them is to shatter that idea that we are not all connected to one another.
Smart move. I remember Steph saying we should move to London. She said we should move to England or Singapore. Those were the two options. I was like, it doesn't matter to me, whichever one. And so I remember being in England, and I was in a place called Maida Vale, and I was working on a book about Muhammad Ali, and I was sitting at a diner. You have that book? I was sitting at a diner called Raoul's, and I'm eating a feta cheese omelet with smoked salmon. Yeah, and I'm writing, and I'm the creativity is flowing, Rachel.
Yeah.
And I remember packing up to leave after a couple hours, and I'm walking down this cobblestone alley, and there's this like 4'5" white woman, old elderly white woman in front of me, like 5 steps in front of me, and she's walking, and I'm walking behind her. And I begin to feel that feeling that Black men feel in elevators when they're with a white woman, or near car doors, or when purses are clenched. Y'all know that feeling, right? It's we feel fear. We feel what is about to happen. There's a tension, and I'm feeling all of this for her. I'm behind her, but I'm 6'4", and I'm catching up to her pretty quickly. And I remember getting to her, like walking right beside her and just feeling it. I'm sweating, and I'm feeling it for her. This is the weight of being Black in America.
Because you're not feeling, you're projecting it on her and then feeling stress as a result of the projection.
Because of America.
Yeah.
And so I get up beside her, and she says, "Oh, hello!" Real pleasant and cool. And it just brings this smile. It's like this. How do you write an American poem? How do you write an American poem, a red, white, and weary blues poem, a poem filled with change, like a bag of pennies in your grandma's chimney poem, an American poem with one hand holding history and the other hand clenching vision, a borrowed poem that pays us back by any means necessary poem? How do you write an American poem? One with baggage, like some Pullman Porter poem, a rainbow wrapped in chains, untenable poem, a dark and deadly middle passage, unspeakable poem, a this is your land until we took it indigenous poem, and we are not enemies but friends unguarded poem, a we all fought to save the imperfect union audacious poem, and we ought to be free and independent poem, a surviving Jim Crow Reconstruction poem, and where do we go from here? Renaissance poem. How do you write an American poem? Movement number 3 in our jazz suite.
Hope.
Last summer, I got to spend a little time with this jazz trumpeter you may have heard of. His name is Wynton Marsalis.
Oh, look at you.
That was just a little flex.
Yeah. Wynton.
Who said something that has stuck with me. And we were talking about the blues earlier and how I believe that the Africans created the blues. The sky was blue, the ocean was blue. They had no idea where they were headed or what awaited them, and that created this sort of, as Wynton calls it, like you could not be utterly destroyed. You had to maintain some sort of hope and faith on that ship. And Wynton calls it, the blues are this optimism without being naive. This idea that we are dealing with some pain. There is some pain around us that is trying to consume us, but ultimately we believe we're strong enough to survive it, to endure it, and to find the joy in it. Do you think that hope is something we find or something we practice?
Practice and choose, right? There's agency, I think, in hope. And it is a practice. And I think my practice of hope is Fred Rogers, basically. It's like looking at helpers. It's understanding that America, there are a lot of systems, and they don't often, they're not going to help everybody. So the country is built around individual action. And it didn't matter the stories that I covered, right? Like again, war in Afghanistan, the opioid crisis, mass shootings. In every one of these, I can tell you about a person who set everything aside to help another person. And in some cases, many, many people, right? I covered Afghanistan for many years. When the US left in 2021, it was a frantic, desperate situation, as every reporter, every person I knew in the military struggled to get their people out. The people they knew who had worked on behalf of the Americans for years, who had sacrificed, who believed in America. And we were up at all hours filling out all kinds of flight manifests to try to get this person on this private plane that was going in, and this person on this shuttle bus to the airport. Oops, that gate is shut now. Oops, they're shooting at this gate. Go around. In the middle of the night, it was absolutely chaos. My kid's visa didn't go through. My kid's passport is lost. I don't have papers. It was all kinds of chaos. And the number of people I know just individually who stepped up to help get people out of there, that is where my hope is. The prosecutor I met in Vinton County, Ohio, who makes, peanuts, works around the clock trying to get these foster kids who have been left behind because both their parents are in jail or in rehab, or neither have died from meth. And she's working overtime to find these kids homes. She is a helper. She is where I see immense hope. And then I met this guy in San Quentin. That sounds like a song. That sounds like a Johnny Cash song. I met a Dutch man in San Quentin. Killed him just to see him die. This Dutch guy had lived in America for probably 20 years, and he was a writer, and he decided that he was going to start a creative writing program inside San Quentin with death row inmates. There's hope, so much hope in that. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that at all. And there was something so cool about this Dutch immigrant and all these guys on death row, and they all came from these different cultures. And there had been sins, and there had been reckoning, there had been shame, and there had been forgiveness. And all of it came out in their writing. And it was freedom in that moment for these men. And I just, how can you not feel hope? How can you not feel hope about people who practice it, in their life, helping other people?
I've never heard it articulated like that. And what you're saying is that these two four-letter words are linked. For there to be hope, there has to be help.
Look at you.
There has to be someone who helps and someone who needs help.
Yeah.
And that equation brings us to hope. You, my friend, your show, Wildcard, I call it a show, it's a podcast. It's a show.
Whatever.
How many years has it been on now?
2.5.
2.5.
Kind of new.
And I've listened to maybe about a dozen.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. And I think that your show is all about hope, ultimately. Like at the end of the episode, I am always, 100% of the time left feeling hopeful.
I'm so glad.
Was that an intention?
Totally. Yes, because I needed it. It was completely self-serving.
Right.
I needed to feel hope. I needed to feel inspired, connected, hopeful, optimistic.
And what you did was you helped others share their stories. And so sometimes the hope comes in helping and not just for the person who's helped.
Yeah.
Not sometimes. I mean, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Are you writing a book?
Oh my God, you're totally putting me on the spot. I'm attempting to write I don't want to call it a book. I am embarking on a writing project.
It is a book.
It feels way too lofty to say that out loud. I guess.
Well, I know an author and a publisher if you need me help. Two of my favorite poets, Emily.
Oh, Dickinson. I thought you were.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not deep.
The Emily. Okay.
And you ready? Oh, I don't know if I should ask you this. And Maya. Excellent. So Nikki's like my favorite. My mother. These are two of my favorite poets. For the purposes of this event right now. Stay in the moment with me, Rachel. And so I've mashed up two of their poems. as sort of a segue out of our hope. And I hope this works. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul, just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed heads and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm out of the huts of history's shame? I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea. I am a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. I rise, I rise, I Right? So this is our fourth movement, and I think it's going to be our last. I love leaving people wanting more. And so we're going to end on this last movement, and we're going to let you all take that fifth movement home with you. Pick a card.
I pick love.
Love.
I pick love.
Oh my goodness. You have spent much of your life professional listening to people.
True.
When have you felt most deeply heard? And what has that taught you about love? Take your time.
These are so hard. I feel so bad for people who come on my show.
You have some empathy now, huh?
So hard.
I do my
Can you
work.
please repeat
I
the
am a
question?
signed 250 fellow at American University. I am prepared. I have a job to do. You've spent your professional life listening to other people.
Yeah.
When have you felt most deeply heard, and what has that taught you about love?
I think the answer for me is not a super surprising one. I have felt most heard in the company of my partner, Luke. And maybe that's the same for many of you here. It is the heart and essence of love, I think, is to be understood, to feel like you are heard. It took me a very long time to find him because I knew that that was a requirement. My parents had that. I wanted it desperately. I didn't find it in so many bad places for so many years and kept thinking, maybe this is, no, you're not hearing me, no. No, it's really about you, isn't it? That's right. So I think in the context of my marriage and my love for him and his love for me is when I have felt most heard. I will tell you though, when I think about love, there are two stories that help me understand it. And one of them is about my mom, and one of them is about Jason Reynolds. Do you guys know Jason Reynolds?
Yeah.
He's just the best.
Has he been on your show?
He's been
on your
on
show?
my show, yeah.
Oh, I know he's been on your show.
Waiting for a special time. But you've heard that episode because Jason talked about, the question that he had pulled was actually about prayer. And the question on the card was, what in your life feels like praying? And it's written intentionally. Not all people are going to even understand what prayer is. They don't necessarily have a spiritual life. That language doesn't resonate for them. And Jason would say that he's not a religious person, but he heard that question, and his answer was a connection that he felt with his sick mom. His prayer was giving her a bath, was caring, right? How many of us have had a sick loved one, and the communion gets me every time, of caring for that person in the most intimate way. And he said, she is my creator. She is the only one that I pray to in this context. And this is my love for her. This is my prayer. And that has never ever left me. It never ever will. That Jason's prayer, that is love. It is an offering, right? It's an offering and a communion with another person. And then my mom, I'll share with you a thing I've never said out loud, but because you asked me about this, it is my real answer. My mom was sick for many years. She died of kidney cancer 17 years ago. She was only 60. It was before I met my husband. I didn't have kids. It feels very strange to have lost her before I had this second life, And when she died, she was at home, she was in hospice, and we all took turns being with her. And right before she died, her last words to me as I was laying next to her, because you're always seeking wisdom. Children are greedy, And you're like, oh, before you go, tell me what I need to know. And my question to her was, what do you think will happen when you die? She was a religious person. I thought she would reference God in some way. Maybe she did in this answer. But her answer very clearly, and she got up. She'd been under all kinds of, opioids and pain relievers. She got up, she sat up, and she looked at me in the eye. And her answer to what will happen when you die was so much love. It was an action. So much love will happen to me when I die. It will be offered to me, and it will be my state of being. So much love will happen to me when I die. So I think about Jason and his offering, right? And I think of my mom, that love is a state of being. So we offer, and also we just exist in that plane. And so that's what I think of.
There's a poem by a poet from the Black Arts Movement. His name is Hakeem Madhubuti. The full potential of a nation cannot be realized unless the full potential of its women is realized. And as I'm listening to you talk about your mother and Jason's mother, it reminds me of the sort of the thing I want to leave on, that I want us to leave on, that I'm reminded of every day, and that is how much you have meant to me and my career. I don't know if you understand by, the 4 years that we spent on Morning Edition together, what that did for my career. I could be in Idaho or, anywhere in this country, and someone would say, I know you from NPR. Mm-hmm. They don't know my books, but they know me from NPR. And so I'm so grateful. Amy Dacey, for recognizing that I would be of some value to you and the university as a signed fellow. You have no idea what that did to me, and how both of you have made my father brag about me at every grocery store he goes in. And Rachel, you and I and Amy would not be here without Shruti for saying, I want you all at Oni. And so when I think about the women in our lives and how they have impacted mine, I know for certain that there's no me. Like Jason's right, the creation of who we are and what we do is the women in our lives. And so I'm grateful to Andrea, who is a teacher, and teachers and librarians have made my career. I'm grateful to Maritza, a poet, colleague, friend. And most importantly, I am grateful to my family, to Stephanie and Samaya, who have shown me how to love. So Rachel, I have
Go
to
ahead.
say something. Yeah, go ahead.
I have to say one more thing. because any of you who have encountered Kwame, but if you've read his books, if you've heard him on the radio, he is love personified. It animates everything he does. It is just the end. That's it, period. That's where it comes from. That's all he wants in return. It's his life's work, his love.
Your mother's name?
Linda.
Linda what?
Linda Scarborough Martin.
Linda Scarborough Martin. Your grandmother's name?
Dolores.
Dolores.
Dolores Scarborough.
Fidelia Holly Alexander, Alice Johnson, Minnie Stanley, Stephanie Stanley, Barbara Alexander, Samaya Alexander, Nandi Alexander. I like all Black women, but you be exceptional. You be a wild star, always searching for the midnight sun, rare as red Disa. I've seen you flower after a fire, and that ain't easy in the quiet pain of dawn when morning comes. I like all Black women, but you be legendary like Sunday supper. Your story tastes different, butter beans and sweet potato biscuits, slow-cooked oxtail and broth-thickening dumplings, while everyone else is eating wings. And it's not that they're not good, but whoever changed the world on a diet of fast food and grape soda? You be homemade love with a glass of fine red. I like all Black women, but you be the blackest, like end of the song notes, like Minnie Riperton's afro on a Saturday night, like the usher board, running out of programs like Miss Woody's hot rolls and tea sweeter than honeycomb in the hollow of a birch tree. After a long sermon, loving you is so easy and I'm born again. I like all women. I like all women because for me, for you, for us, it is the women who make each day lovely. It's a lovely day. If y'all need to stand up, you can. At the old, yeah. When y'all woke up in the morning, come on now. Good job. better place, one word at a time, one note at a time. Rachel Martin, we will be listening to you on Wild Card. Keep doing the work that you do. I want y'all to give it up for my main man over here. This is Jonathan F, y'all. And over here, we got Sticks, aka Frank Russo. And of course, now my long-time collaborator, the illustrious, indefatigable, brilliant Amy Shook. Okay. I'm Kwame Alexander. We want to thank the whole theater. Thank you, Kevin McAllister. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, the entire team. We love you all. And thank you to our amazing crew over here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And behind the camera, yes, indeed. Facebook,